Okay, this is going to be a little bit kind of tough. Okay, you don't need the multiplication chart. It says each pair of points lies on a line with the given slope. Solve for x or y. I have 8 examples and you have 4 to do on the assignment. So example 1. And you can see on the screen, it's not going to help when I show the camera. So you got 1 comma y and 5 comma 5. And it says the slope equals negative 1/2, negative 1 over 2. Now, you have to use this formula to start out with, okay? And when you write an example, you're going to kind of split it down the middle like that. That will be your best bet, so you don't get all over the place. That's just me talking. Okay, any slope is equal to y minus y over x minus x equals the slope. Now we're going to put some numbers in. Slope is negative 1 over 2. Now as far as the y minus y, x minus x goes, you want to start with don't start here every time. Sometimes, not every time. Start with the parentheses that has the variable you're solving for right there. So we don't know the y, so I put a y on the top, a 1 on the bottom. Then I put a 5 to the top, 5 to the bottom. Now y minus 5 I can't figure out. Okay, I don't know what that is, so I keep that y minus 5. Now beneath it, 1 minus 5 I can figure out, that's negative 4. Okay, now here's what you're going to do here. Circle a diagonal, and you did this in December, okay? You're going to have to be reminded how to do it, but that's fine, okay? The diagonal with the letter. So y is diagonal from 2, but y has a 5 with it, a minus 5, okay? So what you need to do, you need to write 2 down twice, because you need to multiply 2 by y and 2 by negative 5. Now 2 times y is 2y. 2 times negative 5 is negative 10. If it's a minus, you multiply it as a negative. So on this side of the equals up here, you write 2y minus 10. Now on the other side, you take your negative 4 times negative 1. That's 4. Okay, that's pretty easy that way. Here you have to multiply twice, the y times 2 and the negative 5 times 2. It's like distributing. Then it's easy, you just add 10. 2y is going to equal 14. Then divide by 2. And 14 divided by 2 is 7. So y equals 7. That's the answer right there. Okay, example 2. We have 0, negative 1. We have x with 3. The slope equals 2. One thing, if your slope's a whole number, put a 1 under it. You're going to want your slope to be a fraction when working these problems. Okay, so y minus y, x minus x equals the slope. Okay. And my slope is 2 over 1. Start with the parentheses that has a letter. You're going to go 3 to the top because that's your y and x to the bottom. Here, negative 1 to the top and 0 to the bottom. Or actually, I don't put that, get that 0 out of there. Let's make a different number. Gosh, I can't believe I did that. Let's make that into 4. It's 4, okay? It's okay, it'll work. So 4 to the bottom. Okay, so we have 2 over 1. 3 minus negative 1. You can either punch in 3 minus negative 1, but it's just 3 plus 1. When it's minus negative like that, that's 4. The bottom, we can't do that. That's x minus 4. So now I go equals over here. Circle the diagonal that has your letter. Okay? You have an x and a negative 4. Both of those need to be times by 2 separately. So that's 2x, and that's negative 8. So on this side, we're going to put 2x minus 8. Then the other side's easy to figure out. You just take your 4 times your 1, that's 4. Then you add 8, that's 12. 2x equals 12. Divide by 2, and we get 6. Okay. Okay, example number 3. I'm going to rip the page off because I hate writing against a spiral. See, I have to write towards a spiral. I hate that. Okay. Alright, example 3. We have x negative 3 and 5 negative 4. And then the slope is negative 1/3. Okay. Alright, so y minus y divided by over x minus x is your slope. You're always going to write that down on this assignment. Your slope is negative 1/3, so you just put negative 1 over 3. Just the negative goes with the 1. Now again, I can't emphasize this enough. You start with the parentheses that has the variable. Negative 3 to the top, x to the bottom. Negative 4 to the top, and then 5 to the bottom. So I know we got negative 1 over 3 here. How about here? Negative 3 minus negative 4. If you have a calculator, if you don't like that plus plus, you can just go negative 3 minus negative 4. Okay, it's 1. Because it's really negative 3 plus plus 4, which is 1. Down here on the bottom, we just keep that x minus 5. Then I circle the diagonal with the x. And I split x and negative 5. Those are two separate terms. Both need to be multiplied by negative 1. So that's going to be negative 1x, and that's going to be 5. So put negative 1x plus 5. Now on the other side we take 1 times 3, that's 3. Then we just subtract 5. So 3 minus 5 is negative 2, and then you got negative 1x. Divide by negative 1, and x equals 2. Okay, example 4. You've got 4y and 8 negative 6. Slope equals 2. So y minus y, x minus x equals slope. So the slope is 2. Put a 1 under that 2. If you don't, you're not going to have anything there, which creates a problem. Okay, circle the diagonal with the variable. So y on top, 4 to the bottom. Negative 6 to the top, 8 to the bottom. Okay, so we got 2 over 1. Now that y minus negative 6, I don't want that. When you have minus and a negative, you have to go plus plus. So you're just going to write y plus 6 now. You don't want that minus negative. Then 4 minus 8 is negative 4. Alright, now I circled the part with the variable. We got a y and a 6 that are separated, okay? So both those have to be multiplied by 1. So that's going to be 1y, and that's going to be 6. So that side, you got 1y plus 6. Now on the other side, negative 4 times 2 is negative 8. So I subtract 6. Negative 8 minus 6 is negative 14. Then just divide by 1, but it's still the same thing, okay? Also, if you're taking y times 1, you can just write y. You really wouldn't need the 1. What the heck, okay? All right, example 5. We've got 2, 4, and x, 8. Slope, negative 2. Okay, so the slope equals slope. So slope, put the 1 under that. You need that to be a fraction, negative 2 over 1. Because you need a fraction to match the fraction. Okay, we want to go here first because that's where the letter's at. 8 on top, x on bottom. Because if your letter's over here, it leads to a lot of unnecessary confusion. 4 to the top, 2 to the bottom. 8 minus 4 is 4, x minus 2 I just leave as x minus 2 because now I have to solve for the x. So circle the diagonal, you have an x and a minus 2. So you take those both times your negative 2. That's going to be negative 2x, and that's 4. So over here I got negative 2x plus 4. On the other side, 4 times 1 is 4. So you would subtract 4, and you get 0. Then divide by negative 2, and I would still get 0. That's okay, you can get 0, there'd just be 0, 8 would be the coordinate. Okay, example 6. You've got 4, 3, and 5y. Okay, the slope is 3 over 1. Always put a 1 if it doesn't say, again, put a 1. You'll regret it if you don't put the 1 there. So slope is 3 over 1. Okay, so right there, y to the top, 5 to the bottom. 3 to the top, 4 to the bottom. So that stays y minus 3, and then 5 minus 4 is 1. Okay, so you need to write a new equation by taking your y and your minus 3 separately times the 1. Okay, so it's 1y and negative 3. So just put minus 3 then. Then 1 times 3 is 3. Sorry, that was a horrible circle. 1 and 3 are outside. That's 3. So I add my 3, I get 6. And y equals 6. Okay. Okay, example 7. 2, 4, x, 8. Okay. Alright, so y minus y, x minus x equals the slope. Okay, so the slope is negative 1 over 2. Start in that one because that's where the letter's at. 8 on top, x on bottom. 4 on top, 2 on bottom. Okay, now 8 minus 4 is 4. X minus 2 we just keep as x minus 2. Okay, circle the diagonal with the x. Okay, put an x and a minus 2. You're going to take each one of those times negative 1. So that's going to give us negative 1x, and that's going to give us 2. So you have negative 1x plus 2. On the other side, 4 times 2 is 8. So minus 2, you get 6. And divide by negative 1, and you get negative 6. Okay, last one, example 8. You've got 3y, and then 1 and 9. And the slope is negative 5 over 2. So again, y minus y, x minus x equals the slope, negative 5 over 2. Okay, so, oh no, we start here. Y on top, 3 on bottom. 9 on top, 1 on bottom. Y minus 9, 3 minus 2 is 1 is 2. Okay. Okay, so I got my y and my minus 9. Take them, separate them, and then times them both by the 2. So it's going to be 2y and negative 18. So I go 2y minus 18. Then on the other side, 2 times negative 5 is negative 10. So then you add 18. Negative 10 plus 18 is 8. Then I divide by 2, and y equals 4. Okay, that's it for the first